Greetings everyone, I am Jose Paulo Labian Mercader, a third-year student of Bachelor of Science in Accountancy, Christ the King College. And I am here to present to you the perfect combination in the Chapter 2 of Managerial Economics. To begin with its introduction, we're in this chapter and the three that follow focus on the spectrum of industry structures. Markets are typically divided into four main categories: perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and pure monopoly. In the table 7.1 provides a preview of these different settings by considering two dimensions of competition: the number of competing firms and extent of entry barriers. At one extreme, or the lower right cell of the table, is the case of perfect competition. Such a market is supplied by a large number of competitors because each firm claims only a very small market share. None has the power to control price. Rather, price is determined by supply and demand. As important, there are no barriers preventing new firms from entering the market. At the other extreme, which is the upper left cell of the table, lies the case of pure monopoly. Here, a single firm supplies the market and has no direct competitors. Thus, as we shall see, the monopolist, if cannot constrained, has the ultimate power to raise prices and maximize its profit. Clearly, prohibitive entry barriers are a precondition for pure monopoly. Such barriers prevent rival firms from entering the market and competing even-handedly with the incumbent monopolist. The oligopoly, shown in the second row of the table 7.1, occupies a middle ground between the perfectly competitive and monopolistic extremes. In an oligopoly, a small number of large firms dominate the market. Each firm must anticipate the effect of its rivals' actions on its own profits and attempt to fashion profit maximizing decisions in response. Again, moderate or high entry barriers are necessary to insulate the oligopolist from would-be entrants. And lastly, the monopolistic competition, it is not shown in the table, shares several of the characteristics of perfect competition. Many small firms competing in the market and an absence of entry barriers. In this sense, it would occupy the same cell as perfect competition. However, whereas perfect competition is characterized by firms producing identical standardized products, monopolistic competition is marked by product differentiation. In short, the two dimensions or competition shown in table 7.1, though useful, do not do the full job in the distinguishing different market structures. And yes, that is the introduction. And before we go to the main topic, which is the perfect competition, it come up into my mind the said word, which is the perfect competition. Then I asked myself, how do you define or how they define perfect competition? Well, join me in discovering its definition, and together let's learn something. So, what is perfect competition? In economic theory, perfect competition occurs when all companies sell identical products. Market share does not influence price. Companies are able to enter or exit without barrier. Buyers have perfect or full information, and companies cannot determine prices. So the perfect competition, it is one of the basic economics market model. It is the market structure in which competition is at its greatest possible level. This is when many firms offer a homogeneous product. It is one that cannot be distinguished from competing products from different suppliers. It is also considered as theoretical because Nothing in the market can be completely perfect or homogeneous. For example, mobile phones varying the methodology of product size, brand identity, and so on. The concept of perfect competition, however, is useful because it functions as its standards to measure the efficiency and effectiveness of the business world. So aside from that, perfect competition is an economic concept that is grounded on the balance between supply and demand. In this model, the amount of product that producers want to sell matches and amount of products that consumers wish to buy. The equilibrium price occurs at the level where the amount voluntarily provided is equal to the quantity sold. This market structure demands the existence of fairly large number of sellers and buyers. The literature called it atomism, as each buyer and seller is a small fraction of the market, acting independently and cannot thus influence the price and quantities. Here is another example of perfect competition. Consider a farmer's market where each vendor sells the same type of jam. There is a little differentiation between each of their products, as they use the same recipe and they each sell them at an equal price. At the same time, sellers are few and free to participate in the market without any barriers. Buyers in this case would be fully acknowledgeable of the product's recipe and any other information relevant to the good. Of course, when there is perfect, it has also the opposite definition or term, the imperfect competition. So what is the imperfect competition? While perfect competition is an idealized market structure in which equal and identical products are sold, imperfect competition can be found in monopolies and real-life examples. For instance, imperfect competition involves companies competing for market share, high barriers to entry, and buyers lacking complete information on a product or service. Unlike perfect competition, however, this creates the incentive to innovate and produce better products, in addition to increased profit margins due to the influence of supply and demand. So that's it, and that's the end of my presentation. The topics under the in this chapter or the perfect competition will be discussed by the next reporter. Again, this is Jose Paulo Labian Mercader, Bachelor of Science in Accountancy, 3rd year, Section A. Thank you.